And we're going to just feel ourselves sitting within our own energetic bubble. Now, in the Inca tradition, we're all surrounded by, it's called a pokpo, which literally means bubble. Bubble of energy. Has other names, auras is probably a more familiar one. But in the Inca tradition, the bubble actually has a skin. So just see if you can, with the tips of your fingers, just locate the edge of your bubble. You might feel a tingling in your fingers, a change in heat, hot or cold. Or you might just know that's the where your bubble is. And your bubble can expand and contract depending on the situation that you're in. So, for example, if you're sitting on a tube in London, your bubble is probably right tight into you. And if you're standing on a beach on a windy day, it's likely to be very expansive. So just feel where your bubble is now. And we're going to cool down the Sami energy. Now, the Sami energy is light energy, also known as chi, prana, the force, has many names, but it's the energy of the universe. It's the life energy of the universe. It's that positive light energy. We're going to cool down this beautiful energy to wash the outside of our bubbles. Now, again, the Inca people, the Quero, live in the high Andes, and it's very dry, very arid there, and they rely on the meltwaters from the glaciers for most of their water because rain is really rare. So for them, when they cool down the Sami energy, they imagine it like rain. Of course, they don't live in England, but never mind. So we cool down that beautiful Sami energy, and it's going to wash the outside of our bubbles. Now, as we breathe and exist every single day, we gather what's called hucha, which is heavy energy. And heavy energy is not good, it's not bad, it's just heavy energy. And Mother Earth, Pachamama, loves heavy energy, the same way that we can chuck out our old bits of vegetables and put them in the compost. And she transforms what we would consider as rubbish into beautiful fertile soil in which to grow more beautiful vegetables. She transforms the hucha and turns it into that beautiful mother's milk, the nectar that's very nourishing for us as living beings. So we're going to allow this beautiful rain-like energy to wash the outside of a bubble and allow any hucha that we've gathered just to wash away, round and down and into Mother Earth with gratitude. Because that's the secret, to give this hucha with gratitude. Now, the hucha on the outside of our bubbles comes from our environment, from other people, from the media, from just walking down the street. It's a bit like dust on a table. You dust it and the dust just comes back. So that's why we need to do cleansing exercises regularly, just to keep ourselves in tip-top condition. So just let that beautiful energy rain down on the outside of your bubble and wash all that hucha down into Mother Earth with gratitude. Beloved Mother, thank you so much. Thank you for everything that you gift to me every single day. Thank you for the food that I eat, for the land that I tread upon, for the sky and the wind and the sun. Beloved Mother, thank you. Thank you so much. Then when you feel the outside of your bubble is lovely and clean, with your intent, open the top of your bubble. Now I visualize it like an old-fashioned camera lens opening. Other people see flowers opening. You visualize it however it works for you. Open the top of your bubble and allow this beautiful energy to rain down between your physical skin and the inside skin of your bubble. Now this area is where we keep the hucha, the heavy energy that we create. This is our own insecurities, inappropriate behavior, inappropriate emotions in inappropriate places. You know it. You know what it is. Just let it go. Just allow that beautiful life force, that beautiful Sami energy to wash down and through you and clear away all that you don't need. Open your bubble at your feet and just let it wash through down into Mother Earth. And again, the secret is with gratitude. Beloved Mother, thank you so much. Thank you for the lessons that I teach myself every day. Thank you for being here now. Thank you for the gift of existence. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All those worries, anxieties, all the things that don't serve you anymore. Just let them wash away. We're just going to allow this beautiful golden energy to work its way through our physical body, starting at our tops of our head. Wash around every cell in your body. Feel it passing through and down through every system, over your skin, through your bones of the skeleton, your nervous system, your digestive system, the endocrine. Just feel it washing through, finding any little blockages that you might have. Some you know about, some that you won't. Just let them go, let them be washed away. Allow this beautiful Sami energy to go to where it's really needed in your body, to work its magic, healing, invigorating, nourishing. And allow all the hoochie to wash out through the soles of your feet and into Mother Earth. Once again, with gratitude. Beloved Mother, thank you for the gift of this incredible body that's carried me all my life. Sometimes I've not treated it so well. So please forgive me and help me treat myself better. Thank you for this gift. Chances of being alive are just so tiny in this whole universe, so tiny. And yet here I am now. What a gift, what a blessing. Beloved Mother, thank you, thank you, thank you. And as is in the way on this path, the path of irony, sacred reciprocity, when you give, you will receive. So we've given all this hoocha that Pachamama loves so much. Now she's going to return the gift with the transformed energy. And this energy comes up through our feet, up into our bubbles, through our physical being. And this is like mother's milk. This is the greatest gift that she can give us. Nourishing, nurturing. Just feel yourself being bathed in this glorious nectar. We have the Sami coming down from the higher realms and the beautiful nectar coming up from Mother Earth. And just gently with our hearts, combine the two within our bubbles, like some glorious spiritual cocktail. Just absorb it and feel it. And then through the top of our bubble, we send this lovely living energy to the Hanok Pacha, to the higher realms. So now we are standing in a column or sitting in a column of living energy being gifted from the upper world, and Pachamama. So we are the direct connection between the cosmos and the earth. So very gently, when you are ready, with your intention, just gently close the bottom of your bubble. Just allow the Sami energy just to fill your bubble to the very top. Then open and allow more to enter, because the amount of energy that's available is infinite. Just drink it in. Just absorb it in every cell of your body. Feel yourself healed and nourished. And then when you really are full to the brim, with your intention, just gently close the bubble at the top. Be aware of the bubble around you. And bring your attention back to your heart. Take a few deep breaths in through your nose. And send a blessing to the plant kingdom. And in through your nose. And send a blessing to the animals. Another breath in, and a blessings to the stone people. And then when you are ready, take one final breath as a gift to yourself. Bless yourself. And then very gently wiggle your fingers and your toes and open your eyes. Okay. So now I'm going to hand over to David, and he's going to tell us about his amazing project, the Children's Fire. So if you'd like to unmute yourself, David, then.
Thank you. The Children's Fire. It's hard to know where to start. But maybe the place to start is, I first heard of the Children's Fire, I think from Mac McCartney at Empathy. And I say I think because when I first heard it, it was like, well, I know this. I know this really deep inside me. I know this is true. So the way Mac told the story is that he had there was a group of half-blood Native Americans, so they weren't pure Native Americans, but they were traveling around the British Isles looking for somewhere to reignite the earth wisdom traditions of these lands. And Mac kind of heard of them, and he kind of followed them around, and then failed to catch up with them. And then the next year they came back again, and he followed them around again, and eventually he caught up with them. And one of the many things that he was taught by them was this particular teaching called the children's fire. And the way he said it is that people noticed that what was needed to hold the council chiefs in integrity, there was something required to keep an integrity so that the council chiefs didn't lose the focus of the good of the village and start focusing on their own well-being. And what they came up with was to kindle a little fire at the center of their council and to make a pledge to that fire. So that fire essentially holds this pledge, and it's a prayer and a pledge and a commitment that nothing emanates out from the council that will harm the children of this generation or 7 generations hence. And because these are Native American people, when they're talking about children, they're talking about the children of all beings. So essentially, it's a pledge to life. So I heard about this. I first heard Mac talk about this probably 15 years ago, and he'd been carrying it for some time before that. So I want to fast forward, and in February, actually in January, I was contemplating standing as an independent councillor in the local elections, and I went to a meeting and to be introduced to this idea and what it might mean. And there was a local councillor there from Carbis Bay who was uber excited, and she went, "The G7 are coming to Carbis Bay," and I was like, "Oh, wow, that's the first I've heard of it." And then that was retracted, like there was nothing anywhere else, and then suddenly it was news. The G7 are going to come to Carbis Bay. Carbis Bay is about 8 miles from where I live. And I'm aware that every time there is a summit, it turns into a pitched battle. The people go there to vent all their frustrations, and there's this conflict that goes on, and it never makes a difference. That the people in the summit just carry on doing what they're doing. It's like, oh well, we're having a summit, and yes, there's that lot, but the police will deal with them. We won't worry about it. And so this is local to me, and I'm going, well, I don't want pitched battles here. Actually, that's really not going to serve the local community. So I went to the land, and I asked the land, what's the most useful thing I can do? And at 4:30 in the morning on the 1st of February, which is kind of in bulk time and is also the same moment in the day as the in bulk time is in the year, I awoke from a dream. And in that dream, it was really clear that the answer I was being given was, let the G7 know that G7 needs to stand for the 7th generation. And so the first thing I did was kind of go, well, put the children's fire at the center of the G7. That's how I've translated the dream into English. And the first thing I did was speak to all the indigenous people, which is not a lot, but all the indigenous people I have any connection with, and all the people that I know who have connection with indigenous people, and ask them, so is there any reason not to do this? And the response I got from every single one of them was, no, it's a great idea, go for it. What didn't happen in the dream was a roadmap. I wasn't given any plan. I just was given an instruction. And I'm reminded of how, so we have these great religions. We have like Christianity, and we have Muslimism, and we have Buddhism, and we talk about the Buddha, and we talk about Christ, and we talk about Allah, Muhammad. And what these people did was they went to the land. Christ went and sat in the desert, and Muhammad went and sat in a cave, and Buddha sat under a tree, and the land told them what to do. And I'm sure they didn't know what to do. Just the land, they listened to the spirit of the land, and what that talks about is nature connection, and nature connection is something that is really vital to me. It's the reason we're in the mess we're in is because we've lost our connection with nature. And I would also say the reason we're in the mess we're in is because we've lost the nature connection aspect of what Muhammad did and what Buddha did and what Christ did. We've gone, it's all about that individual. It's not. It's about the land. Anyway, I spoke to people. I tried to articulate the dream in the form of a film, which some of you may have seen, and it just kind of shared this, and it's grown and grown and grown and grown. One of the things that's happened is that this has gone out, and the lovely Skeena has gone, I'm going to take this to all these other movements. And one of the things that's come back is from places like Black Lives Matter. I don't actually know exactly which movements, but movements of coloured people and black people is, well, it's an old white bloke. Why should we listen? I'm like, okay, that's interesting. There's a wound. If the only thing that comes out of this is we heal that wound, it's worth it. It's actually, it feels like this fire is drawing people to it, and it's a fire of transformation. It's actually allowing things to come up, and perhaps we can find some healing in that. The way we've been, so the truth of the matter is I have no idea what I'm doing. I really don't. I'm just making it up as I go along. Okay, I'm making it up as I go along. But the way I'm doing that is every day I'm going back to spirit and going, so what's the next thing? What's the next thing? I will endeavor to stay as open as I can. Please show me. I will stay as open as I can to the synchronicities, and please just keep them coming, and I will do what I can to work with them. So where we are at the moment is that we are endeavoring to get a social media presence around a hashtag Children's Fire G7, in order to provide two things. One, to provide a platform for people to name their dreams for the future. So, yeah, so as I say, I don't know what I'm doing. I haven't planned what I'm going to say here at all. And there's so many strands, it's difficult to have a chronological thing. But one of the things that was really clear early on was, if it's true that we borrow this world from our children, then we need to ask the children, in what state do they want to receive it? Because otherwise we're just pissing all over it and then going, here you go, here's the remnants, good luck. And that's bullshit. Sorry, excuse my French, but it really is. No, that's not French, it's English. It's not okay. It doesn't sit well with me, and we're not in our integrity, and we're not in our power if that's what we do. What strikes me is what's going on in the world is there's an awful lot of trauma, and the whole thing is being run by trauma. And there's this kind of, oh, I need this, I need more, I need more. There's no limit to the word more. And the promise of what's making decisions based on the seventh generation says, okay, I need to take enough for me, enough. That's different. Enough for me, and what am I prepared to sacrifice for future generations? Knowing full well I'm not going to be rewarded, that no one's going to thank me, but who am I? How do I be of deeper service? Because I think that's our human longing. I think we all long to be of deeper service. And I think the Children's Fire is a way to do that. So, yeah, in the last few minutes I've got, one of the first things I did, so my daughter, I thought, well, it's simple. What we do, we've got the Carbis Bay Hotel. The world's media is looking at the Carbis Bay Hotel. I'll go and scrawl all across it, big letters, paint everywhere. The seventh generation are watching, and that'll get media attention, and I'll get arrested, and great, all of that stuff. And my daughter, who's 20, went, Dad, that's so last year. There's another way. There has to be another way. And because she said that, something much, much, much bigger is growing. But it's a lot like mycelium. It's under the surface, and I can't quite see the fruits quite yet. One of the things we tried to do was encourage people to articulate their visions for the future. And we've run into a bit of a wall with that because it turns out that people are really reticent to dare to dream. And I think that is a fundamental problem, because if we can't envision the future, we're going to carry on with more of the same. So partially what this is asking of us is to dare to dream of the world that we would leave behind.
What would the world be like if everyone thought about what's best for the children?
And there came a time when the grandmothers noticed that there was a need for the village leaders to be reminded to focus on the good of the village. And so they called upon the spirits, and they called upon the ancestors, and they called upon their teachings, and they called upon the unborn generations, and they called on the spirit of fire. And they kindled a little flame, and nurtured it, and tended it, and they took that flame, and placed it in the centre of the decision-making council, and had each one of those leaders make a pledge.
In every action, in every thought, and in every decision that emanates from this council, I promise to hold the good of the children, of all beings, of this generation and 7 generations hence. And that is my pledge.
And the elders asked, and what kind of society wouldn't put this children's fire at its centre? And the children, those future elders, asked, and what kind of society would?
If I was a world leader, I would try and help make a difference in climate change.
We dream into being a world in which all people can be treated equally and with respect.
I'd buy the Amazon rainforest and protect it.
People were less corrupt and cared more about things like the environment and climate change.
I would like the world to be kind.
I dream into being a world where everyone is safe.
I would like the world to be full of nature.
animal cruelty did not exist.
Everyone had access to the same educational opportunities.
I'd make sure that the world was a firm place, and I try and sort the climate change out as much as I could, because our environment and our world is really important to me.
There were no beauty standards so that people wouldn't compare themselves to something completely unrealistic.
No one worried about having a safe and sustainable water source.
Where everybody is treated equally, no matter what color they are. No matter what color they are. No matter what color they are.
From us here in the UK to youth all around the world, we want to hear your voices, your stories, and your visions for the future.